Hey guys, Project Architect here, and today I'm going to teach you how to produce a section out of Revit. This kind of section is good for presentation panels or critiques. It's not a construction section, it's more of something for presentation. So the first thing you want to do is really take out the noise of the section, take out the fuzzy bits that no one really wants to see and try and get the really good details. So first of all, I'm going to go up to the levels over here, because you don't really need levels in a presentation section. I'm just going to go and hide them. The next thing I'm going to do is change the detail level from fine to coarse. Again, you don't really need that fine detail. And see what that's going to do is change the wall detail from a texture like concrete to just a black line, which really does help differentiate what gets cut and what doesn't get cut. The next thing I'm going to do is do the same to my roof. I'm going to override the graphics in view by element, go to the cut patterns, material, and change it to black. And I'd like the material to be a solid fill, apply, and that's going to put a black cut line on my roof as well. The next thing I'm going to do is maybe dumb down on some of the finer details, maybe halftone them. So something like the glazing usually is a good thing to halftone. So if you override by category, that'll select everything that's a curtain wall. And if you click halftone and apply, that'll halftone all the glass curtain walls. Really starts to bring out the other glazing, and you don't really want your windows to be popping so much in the section. The next thing I'm going to do is when you cut your section, it'll usually clip it really far away from your building, so you get all this background stuff going on. I don't want it to do that, so I'm going to clip it at about 35,000 and see if that takes out some of the mess. No, maybe I'll go 25,000. Great. And see what that does is take some of that background noise out, so it's not going to fill up your section. The next thing I'm going to do is use a filled region just to fill in this bottom area here. Usually in Revit, when you're cutting through topography, it's going to end up looking very wonky like this. Your slabs might not cut through it so neatly, and there's going to be gaps under your slabs where you don't want concrete, but there's nothing really there. So putting in a filled region really helps to neaten up all that kind of stuff. So select a filled region, I don't want to save the project, and create a new one. So edit type, bring this over here, duplicate, and I'm just going to say earth. Okay. So we don't want a solid fill, we want more of a earthy feel. Yep, something like that will do. Black, line 1, okay. And then you can just draw the shape out of your filled region where you want your topography to cut through. So it's best to draw over the slabs, it's really going to fill in all of that unimportant information. Before I start drawing that, let me just change the line style to, usually I go 0.5, just creates a nice dark line. Yeah, take that all the way to there. Then I can start doing in my stairs too. That's a great thing about the filled region, it can literally take up any shape you need it to. And even if you haven't got your slabs perfectly lined up, or your topography set in yet, doesn't matter. You can just use your filled region. Alright, I like to take my sections. The important thing about sections and elevations is to take the line all the way to the edge of the page. So you take your line all the way past where you cropped it, it'll look a lot better. Do it here, past where I cropped it, and then just join it back together. Alright, we'll click OK. And you see that's going to make a nice line for us. Turn the lights off. It's going to make a nice line for us where the earth cuts, and it's not going to have messy topography or anything like that. So because you've done that, you can now go ahead and hide your topography. And that's going to neaten up the section as well. So the next thing to do is create shadows or ambient shadows for your section. So changing the graphic display settings, go into your shadows and click cast shadows. Now you can change the angle of your shadows to the sun settings, which I'll explain in another video, but that's pretty much what it looks like for your shadows. So shadows give a little bit more depth to the section, and if you add ambient shadows as well, that gives a little bit more. Sometimes if you don't want the complete shadow and you don't really need that much darkness, you can change the lighting of it. So if you want, if you were up in shadow, you'd look something like that. You go back down to 10, looks a bit lighter. Or you can take off cast shadows altogether and just have ambient shadows on. That creates just like a nice little subtle effect of shadows just within your walls there. That gives the image some depth. So next you go back into your graphic display settings, just go smooth lines and anti-aliasing, and apply that. That's just going to smooth out a lot of those jittery lines and create a nice smooth section for that. It also helps if you end up taking a section into Photoshop, that you're not going to get all those boxy pixels when you try to add fills and colors and things like that. So the last thing you can do, this is kind of a additional option if you want a little bit more interest in the back of your section, is to add a background. You can either use an image of sky, or I like to use the gradient. Having the sky color as white, the horizon color is something along that, and the ground color something similar to that as well. Applying that just makes a nice subtle sky in the background. Doesn't really overpower the image at all, and it also the field region goes in front of that sky as well, so you get a nice cut pattern along the ground there. Alright guys, I've been Project Architects, and I'll see you next video.